Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's the one and only the Guerrilla Economist coming to you live. That's why, yeah. I'm doing my thing, bro.
Well, what happened, man? You were doing your thing, but
I
it
was going
sounded
too
like
fast. My what's it called? My auctioneer style introduction, and I stumbled out of the gate, man. You know,
you ran it into the ground. It's okay.
I ran it into the ground before I even took off, guys.
Do the preacher thing.
That's later. That's only when I rant. I go into preacher mode.
Oh,
yes, sir.
We are here today.
I know the globalists they can think they can win, but they can't. Can I get an amen? Hallelujah.
And the Lord saith unto me.
Yes. Anyway, guys, it's us. Velas is hanging out with us. It's not a Velas show today, but he is hanging with us just for a couple of minutes. So you guys are in for a treat. Check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on X at Rogue News. Every single podcasting app known to humanity. And check out our paid sponsors, algofactory.tech. Learn to trade like a hedge fund pro. They're doing that free algorithmic giveaway. Get your free algorithm. Learn how it works. And let Cowboy show you how it's done. With that being said, gentlemen, good morning, guys. How are you guys?
Doing okay.
Superlative
it is, my friend.
A quick thing on the Algo thing, everybody. The link that we had the last week and a half that led you to the old Algo video. Now that link should take you to the new Algo video, which is the Algo I told you about, which is where there's coding and I show you the programs to connect to your exchange. If anybody has any questions about that, just fire me a message or just simply go use the same link and you can go see it. Apologies for the confusion.
All Algo all day.
All Algo. All day,
all night,
and all night.
The maniacal mustache, huh? This guy.
Yeah, I was half wondering if we should have used handlebars in the image.
Good Lord,
the maniacal mustache himself. Holy
you know, so. We're
going to get to the bottom of what he's hiding in the mustache.
Well, yeah. Should we share that video? I'm going to bring that one
up, man.
So you got to find it. So, guys, here's the thing about it. Like, I have a buddy owns a company that does the misting fans and the heating benches for like professional sports. That's why I was on the sidelines of a football game on Saturday. And so there was one year, 15 years ago, I was helping him do the work for a Dodger game. And there's this security guard who was trying to make us leave because he didn't know we were supposed to be there. He thought we were just some dumb kids who were trying to make trouble. And no matter what he said, no matter what we said, it was like he was just this like automaton. He's like, you got to leave. You got to leave. You got to leave. And there was like nothing behind his eyes. It was like, no, we're here with XYZ company. You know, we're here. You know, we have a pass. Let me get out of here. You got to go. You got to go. You got to leave. It's like, that's John Bolton to me. Like there's nothing behind his eyes.
War.
We go to war. We go to war. We're going to shoot you. But we don't really want to fight you, sir. We just want to make a deal. We're going to go to he has the epitome of everything is a nail and he's a hammer. That's what I say about that asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Bolton's a special kid. Bolton is he's a lunatic. He's a certified crazy person. That's who he is, man. Velas, what's your take on this whole Bolton situation?
My take on it is the same as the other indictment, which is, and I'm not going too far off the road here, folks. Unfortunately, you have to bring the case in Washington, D.C. And we've already seen when you have a clear-cut example of assault, the guy that was working for Doge, whose nickname was,
Big Balls.
Big Balls. Yeah. You know, the judge in a very political way just cut him loose. Now, to take a page from a friend of the show who's a very sharp legal expert, you know, could you tie up the DC court system by filing judicial misconduct charges against the judge? Which, for that matter, not to go too far off road here, we have the small matter of the woman in Philadelphia that was stabbed 20 times, and they claim that was suicide. And half the stabbings were in the back. That family has said this isn't over in that specific situation. They may get a little bit more room to maneuver as far as going after the judge and similar in that situation. But my point is, this, on a broader sense, goes to the heart of the conflict. I don't want to use the word civil war, but the conflict between the world's apex elites across the United States who are fighting it out on our own soil, which is manifesting itself in these indictments. And we were talking, Algo and V and I, yesterday, about the fact that the likelihood of getting a conviction against Bolton, or the other one is probably slim. However, it does, of a fashion, still kind of take them out of the game. They're going to be, I wouldn't say blacklisted, but they're going to be a hot potato. Nobody's going to want to hire them at any of the big law firms or the consulting practices or what have you, at least not for 3 to 5 years. And that's certainly going to put a crimp in their day. So of a fashion, for all the people that are like, yay, the white hats are rounding them all up and taking them to Gitmo. No, for the people who say, why does it matter? No, it still matters. But as the old saying goes, to quote from Babylon 5, your truth, their truth, and what lies within the middle. This is what lies within the middle is, were they indicted? Yes. Were they indicted on more than one charge? Yes. Is there going to be a court case? Yes. Will there be some discovery in that court case that might be amusing? Probably. Are they going to convict it? Well, it's a ditty. No, ... but it's going to have an impact. And there's a whole host of people out there who may not be able to weather the storm as well as these two. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But this type of thing is going to continue, both in Washington, D.C., in my opinion, as well as nationally. And not to, again, channel too much of Tom Luongo, but we're going to see people trying to make the legal system function in places where it hasn't functioned in a while. So this will be interesting. But you do have to take a page out of what we've said on Rogue many a time, which is you have to understand the legal system. You have to understand the appeals system. You have to understand there are mechanisms to hold that system accountable, and they take time. And you have to properly, prepare your complaints and similar. But our friend out, our legal expert, his comment was, do you have a case? If you have a case, a good case, and the system is shutting you down, then you attack the system. His point is, do you want to win? Are you prepared for what it takes to win? But are you prepared to win? Because the first thing is you need to buy a whole bunch of calendars that are several years in the future and your life. But it can be done. And as the old saying goes, once that first brick, if you will, or that first piece of the dam starts to break, it's that first break that's always very, very hard. But once that starts, usually the structure starts breaking down. And that's kind of the analogy I'd use here is, as these things start to pile up, there's a lot of light that's going to get shown on the DC court system. Mm-hmm. And there's a point at which even that court system is going to have to deal with itself. And the same thing across the rest of the country. You're going to have people that are going to have to appeal to attorney review boards, both for the law licenses of attorneys as well as for judges, for the judicial misconduct procedures in your state. I mean, that's where this goes. Because, to quote Lieutenant Colonel Murray, because the appearance of legality is one thing, but if the legal system truly has, and it has not, but if the legal system in a particular state has completely collapsed, well, that's a whole other situation than just being frustrated. That's, hey, where did I leave those fatigues? I know they're around here somewhere.
Oh, man.
Well, I do have the video.
MREs. Oh, you have the video. Okay, cool.
I do have it. Yeah. So, and another thing that we talked about yesterday is when you have something like, say, mortgage fraud with whoever that was, those things have teeth legally. And so making that go away is going to cost money. It's going to cost political capital. So in another way, not only are you discrediting them, maybe taking them off the board for a while, but you're also costing them a lot. Yeah. If Bolton doesn't want to go to jail, to make indictments under the Espionage Act go away, there's going to be a lot of political capital that's being spent, right? Which means with Bolton, that's freaking City of London all the way. But let's, he's a neocon. That guy bleeds neocon.
Oh, God.
And neocon and meth. All right, so Let me go ahead and hit play on this. You should be able. Let me know if you can or cannot hear this, guys. Here we go.
FBI has found the USB thumb drive they were looking for. Mr. Bolton was reportedly hiding it under his mustache. This is apparently the same technique he used to smuggle information in and out of the State Department. Apparently, it was President Trump who alerted the FBI to make sure they checked under his mustache. He said, and I quote, "Make sure you look under that son of a bitch's mustache. I never trusted that mustache."
the look right there. I should have used that for the thumbnail. Jeez.
Oh man, that's great.
The AI is making like political news so much better.
So much more fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
Yes, but equally a lot harder to tell what is simulation and what is real.
Yeah.
And to that, and we'll have to do a separate show on this, really. But to that note, there have been already, I want to say, millions of money in, like scams and stuff like that. Very briefly, about 15, even 20 years ago, all three sets of my grandparents, including my stepmother's parents, all got a phone call all at the same time when I was in my early 20s, saying that I was being held in Mexico in jail and they needed money to get me out.
Did they have an Indian accent?
But you were in Mexico.
Oh yeah, that's beside the point. No, did
the people that call
potato?
Did the people that called your relative, did they have an Indian accent, number one? And number two, did they require that your ransom be in Target gift cards?
Yes. However, my grandfather told him that he's like, "Do you just want a plunger?" So basically, but I mean, I don't know how in the world these people got my grandparents' information. This is like, this is like 2000. This is before 9/11, guys. Like,
yeah. Oh,
I was living in San Diego, right? I mean, that's some inside stuff. How deep is the data that all three sets of my grandparents, including, that's insane. They don't even live in the same city as my parents. And they have somehow, so these scams going back 25 years are that intricate. Imagine now you can basically, at the wave of I could have created that John Bolton video in like 2-3 hours. Not a problem. Just so you understand, like we're going to be, and this is something either of you guys, but especially John, I'd imagine with some of your experience, there are going to have to be entirely new industries built around verification. That's for all we do.
Which, depending on how paranoid one wants to get, was the point the whole time. It's kind of like the revelation now that for those of us who worked in IT, there's no other way to say it. Well, I heard this rumor that Bill Gates, when he was running Microsoft, started releasing viruses so that people were like, "Hey, what are these virus things and how do we defend ourselves?" Well, you're in luck. We have a new product. It was Microsoft releasing them. It's the same way with why is my cell phone getting slower? Well, the newer models are a lot faster. And it's like keep pushing the new updates that slow down their phones. So you have these cottage industries that popped up. And I also remember vividly, while still in the commercial sector, I worked for a firm where we got hit hard by some viruses that wiped out a ton of data. Thank God we had the backups, but because it was like client information and everything else. But we kept struggling with the corporate version of Norton or McAfee. And of course, John McAfee was long disassociated with his former company. And a friend of mine I knew who worked in data centers. And so there's no other way to say it. He's got a lot of folks working there that have Chinese background or Indian background or European background or the other one folks don't, unless you work in these industries, you don't know. Folks from Ireland and Poland who also are a big kind of European supply of IT talent. And they all said, you want to use Avira, Avira.
Yeah, I've used Avira.
Yeah, and I have for years. Yeah, and
only one I trust.
And I asked my former coworker, I said, why does that one work so well and the others don't? And he goes, well, there's no other way to say it. He goes, McAfee and Norton offshored all their work. So employee by day, hacker by night, they know exactly how to get into it. But he goes, Avira is a German company. Yeah. And it's all, manned and staffed by people in Germany. And he goes, off the record, he goes, you may recall a couple of years ago, the German government got really torqued off and said, hey, American intelligence agencies put backdoors in our Microsoft operating systems, which in 2025, it's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's like Bill Gates and the viruses. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, we did put backdoors in your operating systems. So one of the reasons why Avira was created was to help German companies keep U.S. intelligence at least more at bay than they were before. And I'm like, hey, I'm sold. That's a great product. And I still use it. I still use it to this day. That and a couple of others out there, including the, what do you call it? The all popular, where are you? Malware bytes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, maybe we should talk about that.
Kaspersky, that's the other one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was told that the antivirus programs are almost useless at this point, but I mean, if they're not, I would definitely start running some scans.
Well, and it's definitely, speaking outside my area of expertise, folks. It's just one of those things where I play this role on TV. The realm of what we would call cybersecurity or IT security. Because it's gone through many iterations of what do you call your defensive measures. Viruses, quote unquote, I'm making air quotes, are not as big a deal, to Algo's point. They're not as big a deal as they used to be. Now it's more a function of, do you have a good virtual private network VPN tool? And again,
I only use Israeli VPNs.
Yes, because then that way they want to make sure your network's up so they can read all your stuff. Yeah, and we've mentioned on this program, and again, we're not endorsing, we're not saying you must or what have you. One of the tools that we're fond of is Surfshark. It's pretty good. But there's always, in the strange world we live in, if you go looking on YouTube, there's actually a very good evaluation that just popped up this week with like 15 different VPN tools, and they in very clear, easy to understand language say, if you're a novice user or just a homeowner and you're trying to protect your stuff, you probably want to use this one. It's maybe the third best, but it's, for someone of your skill set, it's easier to use. And what's the likelihood that China's coming after you? But if you've got, much, much bigger concerns, then you want to use this one, but you're going to have to watch the other video that explains how to use it. But yeah, it's more compromising, and what Algo was talking about, very specific phishing, PHISHING, attacks where folks have personal details about you. I similarly had my mom was called by a hacker one evening, and they identified themselves as her granddaughter by name, and even described the school she was attending, and said that she'd run into problems and couldn't get a hold of anybody and needed money. And my mom had been around the block long enough that she asked a few qualifying questions and confirmed, no, this is not who. But then immediately shared it with me to say, boy, that was good. Like, in my mind, for age bracket, 9 out of 10 would have fallen. The kinds of things you got to be careful of. And in the old days, in the 90s, one of the techniques that was used, and quite frankly, I'll say this out loud, for those of us that couldn't get a job to save our lives, was going through the trash of a major company, because it's perfectly legal to go through trash. Dumpster diving, as they called it. And we would find out like printouts of emails of some major problem that company was facing. And then we'd reach out to somebody in that company and say, hey, we solved your problem. And it's like, my God, how did you even know we were struggling with that? Why don't you come in for an interview? Yes,
we got a guy.
We will. We got a guy. Happy to help you with that. But now dumpster diving, folks, is the equivalent of your electronic trash. It's the stuff you've deleted. It's the stuff that's on the servers at whoever's hosting your mail service, where they're at, especially, I got to say, at the big ones. Anybody who might be still using Yahoo Mail or some of the others, or maybe your local cable provider's mail product. And even, they're very well protected, but once somebody gets on the inside, even Gmail, They're going through your trash.
Yeah.
They're going through
I'll
your
tell
trash.
you, I get every once a week somebody trying to log into something, and I get the code that goes to my Gmail. I mean, it's just
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
get some bullshit from Coinbase all the time. And it's not Coinbase. I don't have a Coinbase account, you know.
right.
And then Coinbase called me. Hey, this is Jason McMurtry, and I'm just calling you from. Really good. Like their accents are getting very good, man. Right? Very
Hey, how's
good.
the weather? How's the weather in Pune?
Yeah.
Have you seen the hat? And this is true, folks. There are you want to talk about white hats? There are truly doing the Lord's work hackers who are just basically your average person who's bored on a Saturday night. And what they're doing is they're logging into it kills me. They're logging into the security camera systems of the people that are running defrauding networks, because even the defrauding networks don't trust their own employees. And so they'll describe to somebody in the room, like, there's a trash can next to your desk, and tell the person sitting next to you, whose name is whatever, that stuffed animal is probably going to fall off their cube at any moment. And you see these managers running around panicking, and then almost like something out of the military realm, they immediately start making the servers start destroying themselves and getting everybody out of the building. Because the funny thing is, I asked a FBI InfoGuard person I know, I said, all right, beyond just the embarrassment and typical of that environment or culture, if you will, which is, hey, you're supposed to, it's like Mexican organized crime. Where's my money? Well, we couldn't sell drugs this week. That's not what I asked you. Where's my money? If they had to close down a call center that they set up, and, you know, it's a fairly nice office, even though it's a criminal enterprise, the average person might say, well, yeah, they're probably afraid of the people who are running that enterprise or profiting from it being mad about, well, now we got to set up a whole new one, and we got to double check our security. And an FBI InfoGuard person told me, no. You're not thinking long enough. I go, okay. And he goes, think about what happens if a drug movement south of the border gets interdicted and even destroyed. They're not thinking it's American counter-narcotics agents, even though it probably may be. They're thinking it's another cartel. And so when these call centers in various foreign countries, many of whom you know, get shut down like this, they're not thinking it literally is a guy with what do you call it, a Monster Energy drink in Iowa who's between shifts and is just playing around, you know, busting these guys. They're thinking it's another criminal enterprise in that country who's shutting them down. And strangely, in a statecraft way, this is how intelligence agencies actually get people to fight out with each other when it's a third party who caused it, which in the realm of paranoia may in fact actually be who that person was in Iowa who revealed the criminal enterprise in the first place, because everybody in that realm is for hire. So, but yeah, I mean, protect your stuff as best as you can. We've said often here on the show, have a VPN, and very, very importantly, have a VPN tool on your phone. The beauty of Surfshark is if you buy one license, there's a piece of software. Yeah, you can put it on your home computer or laptop, and you can put it on your cell phone. In fact, I've even helped people make the argument to small companies and say, look, I know that you gave them a phone and legally everything on that phone is the company's, but it's like you either need a corporate VPN tool on there or let your employees load one. It's in your own self-interest, but it's like, this is, I mean, some of the spookier people I've worked for, my God, that's the first thing is, before we give you this phone, we've got to encrypt it, and it's going to take 4 hours. And for the love of God, don't lose the code, because everything's encrypted on your phone, and there's a VPN, and my personal favorite was they had a kill switch. Mm-hmm. So we had a sales rep that couldn't find their phone, and we're like, you have 1 hour, man. Like, sorry, but you've got serious data on that phone. And he found it later, but it didn't matter, because it's like, dude, we already It's like
already
those
done.
pagers. It's like the pagers in the Levant. We already blew up your phone, dude. It's a paperweight now.
I had that level of security, and it was nowhere near as creepy. First of all, it was the insurance business, so we have a lot of personal data on there.
Well, Algo, as you know, if you want creepy, I'm your guy. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about dating here.
Ooh,
Whoa!
That one.
Off the top rope.
Woo! Yeah, sorry, that was from the nosebleeds. So in this particular case, it was the insurance business, and yeah, if you lost your laptop, it was I think it was like 4 hours. They had their own custom VPN, right? So they wrote their own VPN, and it was on the phones as well. And we had DHS clearance. Even now, if I go to buy a firearm, not anymore let's just say that if I needed a background check, because I don't, because of the particular license I have in my state. But if I did require a background check to purchase a firearm, it's like I got to come back in 3 hours because of the DHS clearance. It's like all of a sudden all these flags ping up and the machine stops, and that's just the insurance business, guys. Like, it isn't like they're the FBI. So, I have 2 separate VPNs, one for my phone, one for my machines. I run them all the time, whether I am using Wi-Fi or even on cellular. Yes, it does slow things down. Yes, it breaks websites. Yes, my stuff is protected. So for somebody such as myself in the business that I'm in, I mean, seriously, Velas is giving you guys some sage data here.
Well, and the other comment we raised on a prior program is the fact that in the insurance industry and the banking industry, this was the analogy I gave about the Pentagon, where the Pentagon used to have a whole bunch of fiber optic lines coming in, and then during George Bush Jr. Had a new director of national intelligence come in, and they pared that number way down and had a single kill switch. Now, it caused generals and others to lose their minds because periodically the whole network would just go down without explanation, which, not to be indelicate, if you've ever been in a federal building or you've ever been on a military base, unfortunately, those networks go down all the time. So it's hard to tell, is it just the equipment failed again, or are we having a problem? And what I loved was when people said, well, there's supposed to be a banner that goes across our screen that says X, Y, and Z is why we're having problems. And I'm like, how do you get the banner if the network's down? Oh, shit, we hadn't thought of that. In the insurance and banking industry, they've just gone with, I don't blame them, they've gone with the nuclear option. As soon as their IT folks notice that anything reaches a certain level of concern, they just turn everything off. Right in the middle of a transaction, which if you've ever done the kind of work that V and Algo have done, that can be irritating. But the alternative is we're not showing up on the New York Times that we had to pay a ransom in Bitcoin.
Yeah, my machines all have a kill switch on them. So if the VPN goes out, then the internet goes off.
Not to be confused with the kill switches on certain U.S. intelligence aircraft, which are a microwave, I'm not joking, and a great big hammer. This is no joke. And all countries do this, by the way. They take they rip the hard drives out of the equipment, they smash the crap out of them with a great big, it's like a little mini sledgehammer, and then they throw it in a specially made because most of you are like, you're going to throw metal in a microwave? Yes, these are special microwaves that you can throw metal into.
That's it sounds like the Hillary Clinton cell phone job.
That was tragically, that was so vanilla of things you could have chosen. I mean, how many times, folks, in the past 5 years have you heard me sit on this show and go, really? I'm not even impressed by that. Like, could you try? Could you?
Well, I mean, Hillary being so.
I could see the wire on the UFO over the White House, folks. Could you try a little better?
So Hillary is like the definition of vanilla. It's no wonder that Bill was, messing around.
I don't know how Bill is still walking around, and of course he had to. I don't know whether he had to create relevance or there was another reason why, but he made a statement this week about a really competent peace agreement from the White House this week in Gaza, and all I could think of was, why are you speaking? Like, Bill, seriously, go back to watching the game or whatever the heck it is you do over there.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I just got up from a nap, and before I went on my nap, they gave me my MK Ultra drugs. And, I'm a little bit still under the influence, but I figured I'd go out and do a speech anyway.
If I found out in the next 5
That was
years,
a terrible Clinton impersonation.
Let's see what you got, big boy.
I'll tell you right now. I told Hillary, I said, Hillary, look, I love a baby in uniform because that's what I do.
That's right. You got more nasal, like upper nasal.
Hey, that's just how I talk. I like to talk nasal.
When you do so much cocaine, you can't really help it.
There, that's better.
There's
I had to add the nasal to it.
there's a Southern comedian who does an Arkansas or a series of Southern accents, and the Arkansas accent is you have to make it sound like you're both happy and sad at the same time. He used Bill Clinton as an example.
Yeah.
Well, the MK Ultra drugs help with that.
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if in the next 5 years there was irrefutable proof, as much as anyone can have in the alternative community, that Bill Clinton's handler was Hillary.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And Chelsea Clinton is what's his name? Webster Hubble's daughter.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Look at Webster Hubble. You look at Chelsea Clinton. It is a spitting image of each other. And Hillary used to work for Webster Hubble at one point.
Yeah, and that is oh yeah, and that's if you delve into the Mena, Arkansas topic, folks, that's Jesus on the cross. That's almost on par with digging into the JFK assassination, because it's like you'll hit every tree branch on the way down, dealing with that topic in Arkansas, because it's you get into everything from the different members of Bill Clinton's family that are making money from untraceable arms and ammunition that were going into South America, people running side businesses, repairing aircraft to go into South America with guns and bring drugs back, trafficking of kids. I mean, it's all there. It's all there. On that note, gents, I'm going to run along and go do some other stuff. I appreciate the fact I was able to join you on the show today. And just a reminder, folks, I will be actually leaving the country next week for all points east across the Atlantic.
Yourself. Whenever he goes away, things usually happen here.
I can already see V and Algo's text message to me. Dude, you haven't even been out of the country 24 hours and this happened. I swear to God, I wasn't even there. That's what happened the last time I was in Europe. V was telling me something in the Middle East, and I'm like, dude, I'm in Switzerland.
Well, yeah, but just because you're in Switzerland doesn't mean the results are not going to happen in the Middle East. In fact, there's probably a pretty decent correlation.
And I was nowhere near Davos, but anyway. So I wish you all well. I wish you all well out there, and my best to my colleagues here. And I will see you all again, probably, honestly, early December. I need a little time in November, but I'll as always, folks, I'll be lurking in the Discord channel, and I'll be lurking in the wings here, and I might even join V and Algo again as some local color. But anyway, all of you have a good weekend, and my best to you, Algo and V, and I'm out of here.
See you, Velas.
Have a good one, Velas. Enjoy your weekend, buddy. All right, Cowboy. What else is on the radar? And we can just wrap it up.
Regional banks failing.
You know what? That's the sign of a good, healthy economy, bro.
Right.
Regional banks failing, bank meltdowns and mustaches. That's been the news of the week. Bank meltdowns and mustaches. What do you got pulled up in terms of some info in terms of the banks that have been imploding?
I'm looking. Actually, they've moved the articles down. Here it is. No, that's not it. Here it is. Ah, shit. It's a premium one. So you might have to pull it up. I don't have the premium on that.
Okay. I forgot my password for that. But anyway, here's what
I'll find something on it. I'll find something.
I have one from French Finance right here. Literally one day after. Okay, Reuters summarized today by noting Zion's bank plunged roughly 12% after. Look, if you remember, just a few years ago, regional bank failure, like every freaking week, we've had Silvergate go pop. We've had Silicon Valley Bank. They went pop. We've had Signature Bank in New York. They went pop.
Those were all crypto banks.
These were all crypto banks and whatnot, right? But they're just not in crypto. There's a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And now the systemic risk, where people talking about Provident and all these other banks, M&T Bank and whatnot, that were also at risk. Regional banks, Jefferies shares tank as concerns about sour loans grow on Wall Street. Yeah, this is a big problem, man. You get into it. I have some articles here as well. So, all right, I'll get into it. We got Zions, right?
Madison Jefferies. Zions was among the hardest hit banks. It says here, and this is just right on CNBC, is regional bank stocks tumbled as fears mount around the health of their lending businesses, right? All but one stock in a popular regional banking ETF finished Thursday down. Zions was among the hardest hit banks. So the question is, why are they concerned about the lending arms? What's the issue with that? Yeah, it's a bad loan.
Are you meaning to tell me that
Wall Street?
You meaning to tell me the new car loans that they were, 284-month car loans? You think that's not a good idea?
Yes, the aspiring rapper who lives in like San Bernardino, he went ahead and took out a 600-month loan on an $80,000 Dodge. What are the rappers like?
Oh, I mean,
Well, the Demon, the Hellcat.
Yeah, the Hellcat, the Demon.
Yeah, so he went ahead and got. First of all, not only did he have to borrow money for that, but then when it broke down 5 minutes after buying it, he had to borrow another $2,000 to replace a few things. So we got a lot. It's
not just the rapper and burner; it's everybody, man, across the entire whole board. Right now, subprime in the auto industry has reached record levels. We're at over $1 trillion right now at this point of bad auto loans.
I think it's like 2 trillion, isn't it?
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's probably 2 trillion. Exactly.
It's like the student loan bubble.
And here's the thing: what people don't understand, because most people look at the financial stuff as a very myopic way, is that every single one of these loans that are out there, they're all daisy chained. They're all connected with other financial instruments. So when one sector goes pop, it's going to pop other things as well in the process. And a lot of the auto loans, who finances this stuff? It's the freaking regional banks. And who also undergirds some of the regional banks, and who clears a lot of the liquidity, liquidity crunches for the regional banks will be the bigger banks, right? Like for it, so this is not a good thing. This could be a daisy chain that sets off a major crisis. Go ahead, Cowboy.
Contagion. That's you're just saying what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The issue here is so it might be helpful to explain, and you're better at this, V, the way that clearing works. Like the large banks will clear for the smaller banks. And when there is a crunch, then you're talking about the larger banks holding on to all their funds, and they may not be able to have the liquidity to clear for the smaller banks who are left in the lurch, right? Now, what do you think of like the credit unions? Do you think they're going to get like protected or screwed?
They're going to get shafted. They're going to get shafted. I mean, there's going to be a lot of failures. A lot of regional banks are going to go down. Some credit unions are going to go down in the process as well. There's a really good article here by Quote the Raven. It's called "Shit is Breaking and It'll Get Worse." He says between the bankruptcies, lawsuits, and surprise losses, investors finally started to realize what I've been warning about for months: that the toxic crap in regional banking isn't isolated; it's fucking everywhere. The banks, analysts, and the financial press tried to put a polite spin on it, calling the moves unease over credit quality. Look at that! I love the flowery words these idiots use, man.
They're so. You know what? Forgive me, audience. It's so freaking gay, dude.
It's so good. Instead of saying that, we put out some really terrible, shitty loans out to people that should have never gotten these loans again. But instead of that, it's we have unease over our credit quality, or we have idiosyncratic risk. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, let's be honest. When multiple regional banks disclose major losses in lawsuits in the same breath, it's not coincidence. It's a contagion. At the same time, long-held prediction that podcast listeners and longtime Twitter followers will remember is that the gold would eventually start moving more than $100 per ounce in a single session, and has come to fruition, as Zero Hedge pointed out this afternoon. Well, Gorilla's been pointing out for longer. And made the call at $100 an ounce, moves above 5 years ago, back when most of the coverage I received for being a massive gold bull came into the form of ridicule. I gotta get this guy on. He thinks like me. People told me in all their hot shit modern monetary financial jargon why I was wrong. Nevertheless, I persisted, drank 5 Moscow mules before 10:30 a.m., took a stage in front of a bunch of serious-looking fucks in suits, and shrieked at the top of my lungs why buying gold, and then at $13.19 an ounce, was the best way, as my presentation was titled, to short the whole fucking thing. I love this guy. And now here we are. Both my bearish stance on banks and my bullish thesis on gold going ape shit are playing out. And together they signal a much larger structural shift. Or for lack of a hot shit modern monetary financial term, shit is breaking.
Yeah.
My longtime readers have said it repeatedly. When the fiat system breaks, or the stock market breaks, or the economy breaks, there's going to be a blow-off valve. And I've used this analogy for years, and that blow-off valve now appears to be happening in the metals. Just look at the charts. This guy's my spirit animal. This is what pressure release looks like. Where has this guy been? I have a bromance with this guy. I'm reading his articles. I love it. I'm looking at my own mirror here. As for the banks, make no mistake, there'll probably be Federal Reserve intervention again at some point. Nick and I have been talking about that for quite some time. Maybe even full-blown bailouts. But things are going to get worse before they get better. As I pointed out just days ago, with Jefferies, another firm now down double digits today. Once confidence begins to erode in the financial institution, there's no amount of PR or reassuring language that can stop the panic. We've said this for days ago when prepping my paid subscribers on how I was dealing with the volatility that ended that week. Then came the catastrophic headline that reminded me of Silicon Valley Bank. It was the announcement that Jefferies was facing redemptions as banks looked to shore up things up after the First Brand's bankruptcy. Now remember First Brand's that bankruptcy? Holy shit, that's tied to this. Cowboy, remember we talked about First Brands?
Yeah. It was like 2 days ago.
Yeah. All right, there you go. First Brands. Now they added off-balance sheet and debt. This is exactly the type of news that can cause a run on a bank. And the timing couldn't have been worse. It feels like Jefferies could have been one of the first institutions under significant pressure as a result. Further, as I've been saying for the better part of last year, regional banks were absolutely slaughtered today. And these are the banks with exposure to commercial real estate and subprime auto. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near these banks anytime soon, as I think there'll be dominoes that will wind up falling if this chaos continues into next week. This is exactly this kind of stuff we're talking about for years, man.
And the guy we did that deal with about a month ago, the kind of larger deal we did.
Yeah.
Well, he was actually asking me 2 days ago. He's like, hey, I'm hearing some whispers that there's a liquidity problem. And there's been some issues over at the repo window. And I said, I haven't heard anything. I can't imagine we have a liquidity issue where we could just print endless money. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, if you want to clean out the system, then you starve it. And it kind of relates to what we were talking about yesterday in our texts when I was saying, what they could do is hold up the market for the next, until the next election, and then let it fall nice and hard in 2027 to have the right people ready to buy it and push it right back up for the 2028 election. So this could be another version of that, where they have banks that are unhealthy and it's time for them to take a hit. Now, we know that Trump purchased some metals companies, not Trump, he basically had the country, I don't know, it's the Treasury, Fed, I don't know who did it, but we nationalized a good portion of some metals companies recently, right? I think it was like Strategic Metals. And the argument here, and this is coming from like the Tom Luongo side of things, is that if there is going to be some kind of an event like we're talking about here, what if these banks start to crumble and we start to see a bigger problem? Well, if the country, if you will, if we have nationalized a small portion or a meaningful portion of some very important industries, and there is a problem with the economy, then the decisions made in those companies, in those industries, will be influenced by the government, the Trump administration. And then when things are reorganized, to whatever degree they can be reorganized, we might have some control over the way it comes back. So this might be allowed to happen, right? What's going on here, it might be, first of all, getting to the point where it's going to happen no matter what. And they might have a chance to kind of kick the can or not. They might be choosing not to kick the can. Might be the case.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's all very chessboard, freaking trust the plan talk. But by the same token, I mean, this is checkers. It's not that complex.
Right.
You know what I mean? Either way, though, contagion gets out of control. So a bailout would come with strings attached, much as it did with Ford and GM. Not Ford, much as it did with GM and what is now Stellantis. Ford was able to maintain their independence, though, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Ford was able to maintain their independence. They're in a whole heap of trouble too. They have more recalls. They have I don't even know. It's stupid amount of recalls,
man. I think it's that migration to these turbo V6 cafe. Like, I think that's the problem.
It was the whole EV migration that fucked everybody. Porsche's in trouble.
Yeah.
Ford, every car company that tried to go the EV route has been totally shafted. It's to the point where now they're like Stellantis is bringing back V8s. You have Ford bringing back more ICE engines. You have Porsche. They were going to come out with an electric Boxster and Cayman. That got scrapped. They're coming out with ICE engine versions of that. They have this is the globalists, because they're so fucking stupid. They literally figured out a way to destroy the automotive industry, and that's exactly how they did it, man. It's incredible.
Yep. That's everything they do. They're like locusts.
Yes.
It's what they do. And I'm telling you, this is what I've been saying this for years. Communism is not about communism. Communism's job is to be a wrecking ball so that they can knock down everything and come on in and basically be hyper fascists. And they can be hyper mercantile and just basically have, they want to be the oligarchs. So communism is there to destroy whatever power the people have, whatever say the people have in the government. Right. Fortunately for, other countries, that looks like they turned into the skid pretty well. But, we got to kick some people out, man. And that's what China did. That's what Russia did. We talked about it yesterday with EM. And I think that's what part of what we're seeing happen right now. At least an attempt to kick the wrong people out of the levers of control, which is why you see indictments with a guy like Bolton, right? Get him to where he has where he's radioactive. No one wants to touch him, that kind of thing. So again, there's a little bit of trust the plan in there, but at the same time, I mean, that's just regular politics. That ain't nothing new. That's not, no one's trying to say that, someone's got the nuclear codes and, traveled through time, I mean, none of that stuff. This is all pretty, typical politics. So I don't know, V. I would just say take a look at whatever bank you're using and make sure that you are protected properly. I mean, the FDIC is up to $250,000, but by the time you get that $250,000, what's it going to be worth, right? Now, how long does the FDIC take to pay out? You have any idea, V?
Yeah, it says in fine print anywhere between 0 to 99 years.
Serious?
Seriously, yeah, FDIC.
So you might not get your money.
And you're the lender of you're an unsecured lender, so you're the last person to get paid. And when you do get paid, it's anywhere between 0 to 99 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hoping you drop dead before then.
Look, if you're holding massive amounts of cash, I mean, it's good to have dry powder for trading and things. But I wouldn't have more than a certain allocated percentage of any of my capital in cash at this point. It's dangerous, and it's not the best move financially. That's just my own opinion. We don't dispense investment advice. So.
And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. Thank you all for listening in. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. And check out our paid sponsor, AlgoFactory.tech. Learn to trade like a hedge fund pro. Take advantage of the free algorithm and giveaway. And with that being said, enjoy your weekends, everyone. Cheers.